When SQL statements are short, they're easy to manipulate. But if they're longer and they have single quote marks surrounding string constants, they can be harder to manage whether you're typing a single select statement or trying to assign these strings in a PL/SQL program, for example. In this video, I'm going to show you a way to make string handling easier when it has embedded quote marks. Has this ever happened to you? I want to see what the higher salaries are after a proposed 5% pay hike, so I'll run a select statement with the proposed changes. I highlight the select statement or put the cursor on the select statement and press Run Statement. There are the results. That doesn't look too bad, but let's say I wanted to remove employee King and anyone whose hire date is year 2008 or later. I'll run the same select statement again, but I'll add the where clause with those two conditions. There they are right there. I'll select it, run it. Much better. Now, what if I wanted to automate an update statement like the following? There it is right there. It updates the salary for all employees except for the conditions in the where clause and bumps it up by 5%. I'll go ahead and run it just to show you how it works. 94 rows updated. Then I'll put it in a PL/SQL procedure or something similar if I want to run it later with other statements. So I'll put it in an anonymous PL/SQL block to test it. There's the anonymous PL/SQL block. I'll go ahead and run it. There's a problem. The problem is with the quotes. As you can see, there are embedded quotes and there are quotes surrounding the update statement. I'll fix this by doubling up all the internal quote marks. As you can see here on line 5, there are 2 quote marks on each side of King. There are 2 quote marks around the date constant. I'll select it, run it, and that works. Still, it's kind of a mess. I still have to maintain those double quote marks, especially if I have to add another string. There is another way. When you construct a string constant, you can put it in single quotes as the syntax for string dictates. Notice there are 2 branches in the syntax. Option 1 is usually the easiest. Put the character string in single quotes, and if there are any internal quotes, double it. But option 2 is there when you try to create a string that has several single quotes inside. Use quote delimiters instead. To use a quote delimiter, follow the rules under option 2. Start with the letter Q, upper or lowercase. Choose a quote delimiter, one from either left bracket, left brace, less than symbol, or left parenthesis. Put in your string without the quote delimiter. Then the closing delimiter, the opposite of what you chose earlier. Right bracket, right brace, greater than symbol, or right parenthesis. Finally, use a single quote at the end. That's it. No doubling of the single quote inside the string required. Instead of trying to fix the quotes, I'll use the alternative quoting method instead. Here's the anonymous PL/SQL block with the alternative quoting method. In this case, I'm using a left brace and a right brace. And as you can see, I can leave all the internal quote marks the same as they were before in the original update statement. When I run it, runs fine, and I don't have the mess of having double quotes strewn throughout the update statement. You have 2 ways to create a string constant, whether in a select statement or within a PL/SQL procedure. Wrap the string with single quotes and double any embedded single quotes, or use a quote delimiter. If you use a quote delimiter, put a Q before the first single quote, then surround the string between the quotes within one of the allowed quote delimiters. You can have as many single quotes within the string, just don't put any quote delimiters in the string.